Yeah. It's run time!
Welcome everyone. Zhain here. It's the last day of 2024, and we all preparing for the next year. In TF2, many things happened during this year, from a destroyed Saxxy to the recent TF2 7th comic, and today, on this sort of rewind, we will do a recap about the most interesting things that happened this year, for the game, and for the community. If I miss an event during this video, you can leave it on the comments. Time to start. The first update of the year, where we got fixes to maps, and something apparently caused that everyone in any server couldn't connect to the item server, making everyone to look to their default loadout. A funny situation from that day, except that some hours later, we got the information of the TF2 Source 2 project being closed, due to technical problems with Valve. After 3 years of development they were forced to end this project. A sad information due to the great results they have had so far, causing surprised reactions from the community and a bad vibe towards the company for taking down community projects. After that day, due to this events, the save.tf hashtag would be trending topic, and taking advantage of the commotion that the community was taking, a change.org petition of save.tf would be created, in order to have an open conversation with Valve about the state of the game, since they were attentive taking down mods, but not paying attention to the state of the game itself. Even if you remember, I received a copyright strike on 2023. Although this petition collected more than 30,000 signatures, it did not achieve its main objective, although this would be the initial step of something much bigger in the future. In the middle of the month, on Steam database there would be a new depot branch for TF2 called 64-bits Linux test. This would be surprising, since at that time TF2 still ran in 32 bits. However, by saying Linux it would probably be for the Steam Deck, although there were theories that it could be transferred to Windows, and indeed, it would be true. February, after tests for Linux on private betas, we got the 64-bits version for Windows as a private beta, so more people could test and share their results with their new performance. However, this beta was incompatible with casual mode, missing an important part to test, and for some months, this would continue like this, as a private beta test. March. These months would be relatively quiet, not without interesting things. We got the testimony of an user who visited the Valve offices and had a chat with Eric Smith, one of the developers of TF2, where he mentions how he currently works on TF2, from which we mainly rescue the fact that the community is an important part of everything that is sought to be done with TF2, whether it be updates, fixes or events. This also occasionally accompanied by part-time workers, but leaving him as the main developer in TF2. Despite having several interesting topics for the game, nothing was mentioned about the crisis the game was going through at the time, so the community felt that in some way, they were not being heard about the game's problems. Before continuing, we can also remember some interesting news. For example, when Emesis Blue appeared on Dead Meat Kill Count, or when the heavy voice actor Gary Schwartz was announced as a Soviet voice pack for Skullgirls, and referring to Soviet, we literally mean the heavy.
Wait! Crush them! Go! Oh, keep going! With just that good part! Good fighting! Now, sandwich time!
April. On this day, the 64-bits version would be officially launched as an update for TF2, replacing the old OpenGL technology of 32 bits to Vulkan for 64 bits, having a better performance for the new graphics cards, both for Windows and Linux clients. This was surprisingly good, because one of the main problems that TF2 had during these years, it was how outdated the engine was in relation to the current year, with limited performance on new computers, which was a problem even before the bot crisis, so this update was one of the best in years, and there was more to come. May. This was one of the best of the year. The Catholic repository on GitHub would be deleted. This is where hackers could use their tools to cheat on the game and to generate bots accounts. This caused a bot stoppage in casual, since the creator along with the tools where all this was generated were no longer available. This would be the work of Valve together with the community. For example, Geneticist, if you remember, this user had information about cheaters, sending it to Valve, thus being deleted from GitHub, being a great job by Valve and the community, with actions that really helped to solve this crisis in the game. On the end of May, close to the second anniversary of save.tf, there would be a new announcement of this community event, with a new name and clearer objectives. Fix TF2 would be the same as the change.org petition, but in this case, this would be an entirely new website, where we can see a summary of the main problem that TF2 was going through at the time. The hacker bots. On that moment the bots would be an uncontrollable plague at that time, invading the casual maps. In this context, a video by the user's SDGesus would show a very revealing fact, being that the number of players that TF2 now handles would be the vast majority due to bots, reaching up to a figure of 60,000. There were literally more bots than players. The idea was to gather as many signatures as possible, so that they could be seen by Valve. This would start on June 3rd, so that the entire community would have time to find out about this. And indeed, that day the community began to sign, this time having a big difference with the first petition, with more than 300,000 signatures, from players who wanted an answer for their game. From people who wanted to quietly enjoy the TF2 experience, where no one is affected by the actions of people with bad intentions. This movement was complemented with its hashtag on social networks, especially on Twitter, being an even bigger success than last year. This time the TF2 community wanted to be heard. Whatever the place, whatever the game, the TF2 community was not going to stay silent. As of today, the petition has accumulated 343,000 signatures, all of which were delivered to Valve's offices in a book of more than 600 pages, being a symbol of the goodwill that the community has in this game, and of course, that this great number of people still count on Valve to defend Team Fortress 2. Unfortunately, this great effort by the community would be worth it. On ends of June, after many years, the banhammer would drop all its dust and be raised once again. According to SteamDB, there would be a huge drop in players, and this is because the bots would be banned and the hosters would receive a ban from the game. This caused the expectation of the people and the anger of the hackers. This was a massive purge of accounts that would exceed 50,000 banned accounts, and not only cheating bots, but also idle bots.
Hi, this is Gabe.
Destroy!
July, on a moment, with many banned accounts, the summer update was close and people was enjoying the game as they always deserved to, and another announcement would shock the TF2 community, with a new information about the long-awaited TF2 7th comic, where one of the writers J. Pinkerton would reveal a sneak peek of the first panels of the comic, with a finished script that they are waiting to be fully drawn, with an undetermined date, but that would be released at some point, which hyped some, and left others with doubt, due to the suddenness of the information. Truly the first semester of this year was a rough one, with many long-awaited fixes for the game, but there was something which left many people dissatisfied, and these would be the seasonal updates. After many other funny news happened, the Funkus collab with TF2, the apparition of the new Valve shooter game, or even the TF2 mobile lands on YouTube, the season updates was the only things we could get something new. But the summer, Scream Fortress and Smithmas, everyone agreed that was more of the same, since 2017. The content updates has been some new maps, new cosmetics and new taunts, ignoring many of the innovative contributions that we can find in the workshop, where the chosen content feels generic, and with little hunger to have new things in the game, which produced stronger reactions in the case of the community of Warpaint creators, where in an open letter, they express the desire to include contributions that offer new designs for Warpaints, this in favor of innovation to these designs for weapons, and for the efforts of the creators. Now on December, with the year about to end, we probably thought that this could be all from part of TF2 for this year, probably waiting that what thing we could get on next year, until out of nowhere, the bomb hits. After 7 years, and like a Christmas gift fallen from the sky, the 7th and last TF2 comic would be published, concluding the story that began in 2013 and remained uncertain since 2017, resolving the last arc of the story and leaving us with a more than worthy ending for our favorite characters, which for many meant the closing of a cycle, a goodbye to the mercenaries and the end of TF2. Most likely not the end of the game as we know it, but a closure to the story of the characters, a story that began with us somehow knowing the game and becoming fond of its characters, until this moment, where we can have an end to this story, where what is most clear to us is that we couldn't do any of this without you. A perfect end for this story, and for this year. As we saw, this year, despite not being begin content, there was direct collaboration with the community, this to go in favor of solving the problems of the game that were present for years, which compared to previous years had not been done. That is why I mention that it is the best year in years, since 2017. The updates had been quite repetitive and the game looked more abandoned every year, where it was only limited to adding workshop content for each update. That changed this year. We had fixes for optimization and bots, being something quite positive for the game, and that together with the community, these issues could be solved. Before ending the video, I would also take a time to talk about the channel this year. As well, the TF2 news format has been maintained. I think those last months the videos has felt like very bot generated and not just referring to this TTS speaker voice. Also the videos has felt like just so generic. This is mainly because the channel owner has been more distant from this, since he has been focusing on his more personal life. So the responsibilities of the channel have been passing to me, the editor, and I have been getting used to it bit by bit, and with the fast format of the videos, I couldn't had much time to be able to bring something new that does not feel so robotically created. I will maintain the TF2 news format for this upcoming year, and I will work to bring new things for the channel. Mainly I hope for one day to stop using this TTS voice, and thank you for the support on this year. Truly 2024 was a crazy year for TF2. A lot of things happened, but I think it got better in comparison of previous years. What are your thoughts of 2024 on TF2? I hope you have a very nice 2025. Enjoy your new year party, and we will seeing you on the next year. Subscribe for more TF2 videos.